You think that Adidas is a liberal organization?
They dropped Kanye, duh.
Oh, gee, I don't know if you even want to get into that
The
one.
kid who is groomed in the right way turns out to be healthy and natural. That's enough evidence for me that a kid who is raised to be a boy,
So,
he's
okay,
turned out to be healthy
if
and
you
natural.
have if you have evidence that straight people that are
Yeah.
raised by loving, supporting parents
Yes.
turn out happy and healthy,
Yes.
then and I present to you evidence that trans people who are raised by loving, supporting parents turn out to be happy and healthy, then why don't we meet each of their individual needs? The straight people just need a happy, healthy, loving home. The trans people need a happy, healthy, loving home and access to doctors and therapists.
Can
So
a trans
let's
person be
just give
straight?
them their
But can a trans person be straight? Yes
yeah,
or no?
trans people
So
can be straight.
why are you differentiating between the
Oh,
two?
sorry. Then let's be more clear. So
Okay.
say that you have studies which show that for most cisgender people, if they are raised in a home with supportive parents, are allowed to access the medical care they need, they turn out happy and healthy. I'm presenting to you studies which show that trans people, when they are raised in loving, supportive homes, they're allowed to access the medical care they need, which includes gender affirming treatment, that they turn out to be mentally just as well as cisgender kids. I have studies which show that when trans youth are supported by their parents, when they are allowed to access doctors and therapists, their mental health outcomes closely match that of cisgender kids. So that's just the facts about the world. Why not follow the conclusion of these facts and support the cisgender kids in their being cis, support the transgender kids in their being trans, and both allow them to see the types of doctors they need?
This might mind blow you, right? This might blow your mind. Almost every single kid alive today that you see walking around happy, healthy, has gone through some kind of gender conversion therapy. And it started
What?
at home. It started at home. It started at home.
Explain.
My father told me to man up as a kid. My father told me to do those damn push-ups. My father taught me how to throw a football. Every kid has gone through gender conversion therapy, and it has been proven to work.
Neil, can I ask you a question?
Decades.
Can I ask you a question? Would you rather be a woman?
No, my father
Okay.
taught me right. My mother taught
Well,
me
wait,
right.
wait.
I'm not confused.
Did you want to be a woman before your dad like told you to play football or whatever?
I didn't even know what a woman was. When I first came out the womb, I was just a baby crying.
Okay,
I had to
so
be taught.
it seems to be the case
the
that
difference between man and woman.
well, here's the thing. If you
A lot of these people say, "Well, you could be trans at 3 years old." How the hell?
if you didn't want to be a woman, you're talking about your own personal cisgender experience, which is not reflective of the experience of transgender people.
By your definition, every time a baby comes out the womb, they're non-binary by your definition. Then their parents come along and
How
say,
so?
"Hey, you're," because they don't like the color blue, pink, or whatever, right? They don't know play football or to wear skirts. They don't know those things. They don't understand.
I
the
never
difference
said that
between-
makes someone non-binary.
What I'm saying is they don't have an innate thing that
It seems
they
like
want to
you're having a
identify
hard
as.
time listening to what I'm actually saying.
No, I'm just saying. I know those things don't make them non-binary. I know what you're saying.
Well,
Those are
why
like
did you say that
identifiers.
why did you say that I believe that makes them non-binary?
No, I didn't say you believe those. I'm just saying those they didn't.
No,
I
you
was just
said that
saying
in
those-
my world they're non-binary because of this,
But
but
what
I
I'm
didn't
trying to
say
say is-
that. Why are you ascribing to
because
me?
those are the-
why are you ascribing to me
because-
things I didn't say?
because those are the markers. Remember, those are like the
Yeah,
markers where you
but
can
I
tell
didn't
someone
say
is.
that. So why are you ascribing that to me?
Because remember, those are the markers where you can tell someone's gender. Remember, like the markers, but you said it isn't always the case. That's what I'm saying. Those people, they don't have.
You're still not even listening to what I said. I
No.
never said that those determine someone's gender.
I know. I said
Just
markers.
that those are characteristics which society genders.
That's why I'm. That's
when
why
I'm
I
referring to
said
gender, I'm referring more so to social relationships.
all of it together. I know what you're saying, but what I'm saying is all of it together. They don't even have personalities yet. They don't even have social relationships. They come out as being nothing. Like they only have their biological sex. That's it. They don't have personalities. They don't have people that they care about yet. They just come out as babies. They know nothing. They're not even religious. What I'm saying is, as human beings, and I'm saying this is a good thing. This may sound wrong to you. You can tell me, but we impose our views on babies because that's the way that parents are supposed to do. So
Yes,
when they come,
so you understand that gender is social in nature. These are social implications
that's why-
that we ascribe to children.
That's why I never did. That's why I never said I didn't understand you. I understood what you were saying. I just think that you have a hard time understanding me. I get what you're saying about gender and all of that.
No,
I
I'm,
get it.
I'm hearing
I've
what
heard
you're
it before.
saying. I'm just pointing out that you're advocating for a world where more trans people are going to kill themselves, and I take issue
No,
with
no.
advocating a world where
I'm,
more trans people are
I'm
going to kill
I'm
themselves.
advocating. I'm advocating for a world where before we even get to the therapist, before we even get to the psychologist, I'm advocating for a world where the parents rear the children into the proper direction, and we wouldn't even
What do
be
you
having
mean
this
by what do you mean by
conversation.
the proper
If
direction?
you're a boy, I think that a father and the mother should rear the boy to be a man, and I think that if you're a girl, the father and mother should
Okay, let's
rear the
let's get
girl
into
to be a
that. So
woman.
earlier you said that like it's bad for like a boy to wear makeup.
In
Why?
my home, it would definitely be bad because
Well, why is
I
that
don't
bad?
clowns wear makeup, and I really
Okay, so what? There are also like men who are actors. They wear makeup too. So
yeah,
like, what's wrong if a boy wants to wear makeup?
those men are
You're
clowns.
saying that okay, literally every actor in any kind of movie you see is wearing stage makeup. They're all clowns.
Huh? Clowns like to put on a show.
Every male actor in a movie, TV show, they're wearing stage makeup. I
Well,
promise
clowns do
you.
like to perform for people, so
So you think that everybody who has ever acted in a movie is a clown?
I think that clowns do what they do best. They act.
I just don't see how it's bad or wrong for a boy to wear makeup. They do it all the time in theater, in movies. Like, what's wrong with a boy wearing makeup?
Unless you want your
Because
little
why?
boy to be a career clown, I think that is bad.
So wait,
You know,
does women wearing makeup make them into clowns?
it can be.
How is this a bad thing that someone wears makeup? I just don't understand how that's bad.
Listen. I want my.
Can you justify your position? Can you give me a reason why wearing makeup is bad for boys?
First of all, you talk to a dude who paints his fingernails from time to time. I paint my fingernails black, right? What I'm saying
Okay.
is this. What
So
I'm
why
saying
is
is
so
this.
wait. You know
Hmm?
that there would be many conservatives who would say that it's bad for a guy to paint his fingernails.
Yeah,
But
and I agree
but
with.
they're wrong, right? Because like that's so silly. There's no reason
No,
why like
no,
a
no.
man shouldn't be allowed to paint his
There, there,
fingernails.
there, there's nuances. There's nuances, like what you said, right? I was just joking around with you. There are nuances, right?
So what's wrong
So
if a man wants to paint or if a man wants to wear makeup or paint his fingernails?
because
What's wrong with that?
here's the thing. I paint my nails because I'm dark like that. Sometimes I'm dark like that, and I do music. I'm in music videos, and here's the thing. Those actors, they paint their face because they're acting. They're trying to look the best that they can. A little boy put on red lipstick, put on blush. That's wrong.
Why
Me
is it
painting my
wrong?
nails pink and having
Wait,
flowers on it, that's wrong.
why
That's
is
why I
it
say I use
wrong?
the color black. I don't try to go out there and
Wait,
cross dress or try to
why is
gender
it wrong
switch
if a boy wants to like wear something that's considered more traditionally feminine? Like
because
say a boy wants to wear a skirt. What's wrong with that?
I'm glad you asking this question.
I
One that
genuinely want to understand because me personally, I love femboys. I think that femboys are cool and that if they want to wear skirts and makeup and paint their nails in whatever kind of frilly little thing they want to do, power to them. That's their personal freedom. I love people's freedom to express themselves as they want to. So I would like you to justify to me why you are opposed to femboys having the freedom to wear skirts or paint their nails pink or wear a frilly little dress or whatever.
I'm not opposed to that.
You
I'm
said
not
it was
saying
you said it was wrong.
yeah.
So you are opposed to that.
No, just because it's wrong
Wait.
doesn't mean I'm going to try to stop your freedom from doing that. That's the beauty about
Okay. If
America.
that's their
I'm opposed to
freedom,
if I were to have a son, I'm
but it's
opposed to it.
wrong. Why is it wrong?
Let's get into the science of it. Let's not care about feelings. Let's get into the science of it.
Please,
The,
give me a scientific justification why it is wrong for a boy to wear a skirt.
the science to makeup, the science. Oh, and
We're
we
talking
get to
about wearing a
too.
skirt.
Okay, the science to wearing a skirt. Skirts are particularly designed for the female's anatomy to show her curves, to show her figure.
And that's
A
not always
boy is
true.
a-
There are unisex skirts. There are kilts that exist.
that's not a skirt. We're talking about
What
skirts
about
designed for women, women's clothing.
there are also unisex skirts.
Then that's not a skirt. A skirt are for women.
Wait, if it's a unisex skirt, then it's okay. But if it's like a women's skirt, then it's not okay.
That's not a skirt.
You don't think that unisex skirts exist?
Yeah, if you
Here, I'm
wanna
gonna go
be
to
gay.
Google right now. I'm gonna type unisex skirt,
Yeah, those for gay
and
men. Those are for
they're
gay
a
men and
thing.
trans women.
It's called a unisex skirt. This is actually just what the article of clothing is
Who
called.
made that? Some liberal?
This is Adidas.
My point exactly.
You think that Adidas is a liberal organization?
They dropped Kanye. Duh.
Oh, gee, I don't know if you even want to get into that one, but
Yeah.
I don't think that
liberal.
you should be advocating
and makeup.
that you love Hitler, and then also signing deals with like if a corporation doesn't like Hitler and doesn't want to be associated with someone who is advocating for Hitler, I think that's fair.
Oh yeah, and the deals
and that doesn't
are
necessarily make
racist.
you, that doesn't necessarily make you
They literally
liberal
made shoes
for being
with chains
opposed
on
to
them.
Hitler.
They literally made shoes with chains on them like slavery. So they're not the one to make a moral call here. So let's not even get into that. Anyways, we're
What?
talking as far as
If they're bringing awareness to slavery, isn't that like a moral thing to do?
Are you serious? No, I said those shoes had chains made onto them, like as if someone was a slave.
What was the purpose of them putting chains on the shoes?
It was racist.
They said that they were doing it in order to be racist.
I'm going to make
why did they
something
put chains
racist.
on the shoes?
I'm going to make something racist and then do it and not sound racist. That's ridiculous. That's the same thing with H&M and all these other things. They don't have to say they're racist. If you're making something racist, you're racist. Simple. They're not the ones to have the moral ground here. So let's go back to.
I just don't necessarily see how it's racist.
H&M ever say that they were racist?
If they're say like bringing awareness to history, that's not necessarily racist,
that's not,
right?
No, these motherfuckers are racist.
So how are they being racist?
We're not going to get into that because we're talking about transgenders, and it's easy for me to debunk that. And then so when it comes to young boys putting on makeup,
right, so easy that you won't do it. Okay, I got it.
Just look at the shoes for yourself. The same way they make caricatures of black people. That shit is racist.
Well, I would certainly agree that like caricaturization tends to be pretty racist. But
and I'm transphobic,
if you
right?
have like chains on shoes, then I don't think that that's necessarily racist. I think that could be bringing awareness to the history of slavery. That's not necessarily racist, especially if you're trying to spread a message that this is a bad thing.
Oh, let's bring awareness to something that everyone knows about. Okay, sure. Anyways,
sorry. Well, let's get back to topic. You were trying to give me the scientific justification why it is wrong for a boy to wear a skirt. Please continue.
I already said that, and then now I'm getting to the makeup part. The makeup.
No, you didn't provide a scientific justification.
I literally said that those skirts are designed for the woman's anatomy.
So what if this skirt happens to fit a little boy's anatomy very well? Like you do know that like prepubescent boys and girls, like their waists and hips are going to be in like the same kind of range. Like it's not like this skirt's not going to fit a boy. So if the skirt fits a boy well, it works with his anatomy. Why shouldn't he wear it?
Because just because something works well doesn't make it right or morally correct.
So why is it wrong for him to wear that skirt?
Because it's morally incorrect.
Why is it morally? You're saying it's wrong because it's morally incorrect. Your logic is completely circular.
So why is it
that would be just
incorrect?
like if I told you that a woman was someone who identifies as a woman. You wouldn't like that because it's completely circular.
No.
You're doing the circular logic right here.
Something being wrong doesn't necessarily mean that's morally incorrect, but in this case,
you're saying it's wrong because it's morally incorrect. That's circular reasoning. That would be like me saying a woman is someone who identifies as a woman.
That's not the same. Okay, why is it morally incorrect? I can tell you why it's morally incorrect. I can tell you why. You're confusing that little boy. You're telling that little boy it's okay to cross-dress. That's why.
How does that confuse him? If you tell this boy, hey, you can totally wear a skirt. Some people might think that skirts are only for girls, but guess what? Anyone can wear a skirt. Clothing is just clothing. That's okay.
Okay.
Then how is that confusing?
That's not going to happen in my household. That's why my kids are going to rule the world, and your kids are going to be slaves to society. If you even have kids, I don't even know if that's even going to be possible. But what I'm saying is this.
I don't think that that's a justification, that your kids are going to rule the world, therefore men can't wear skirts. That doesn't really make any sense. You also don't have any proof that your kids are going to rule the world, and you don't have any proof that my kids are going to become slaves. You don't have any proof for any of that. The problem is that you have no proof or logical justification that a boy wearing a skirt is bad, so you have to do some vague notion of, well, it's bad because it's morally wrong, do entirely circular logic, and then just say, well, I wouldn't do that, which once again is circular logic. You're saying, I don't like it because I wouldn't do it. All of your logic on this is entirely circular.
We need men.
So I please ask, men can wear skirts and still be men.
That's why.
Have you heard of femboys? Men can be men and still wear skirts.
Degenerate. Femboys are degenerate.
How are femboys degenerate?
We need men in this society, not bitch boys. That's why.
Wait, femboys aren't necessarily bitch boys. Femboys can be very masculine.
I'm feminine, but I'm not a bitch. Tea and crumpets.
I don't see how that proves that femboys are degenerate.
I think-
How are femboys degenerate? Explain that to me.
I didn't even explain the makeup thing. Don't you want me to touch on the makeup thing?
I think we're talking about broadly kind of like femboys. So like, why are femboys degenerate? I'm genuinely curious.
I think it's important for me to say something about makeup. I get on that too. I never even said why I don't think a young boy should wear makeup. I think a young boy shouldn't wear makeup because the blush, the red is specifically designed scientifically to entice men. So when a woman wears makeup, it entices men to look at her face, to notice her. It is scientifically proven that men are attracted to that bright color red. They are attracted to that. And not only that, makeup makes your face look more feminine. And I want my sons, and me personally, I love the idea of being masculine and looking masculine and drawing attention to myself on
a couple
women.
things. First off, you can wear makeup not for the reason of sexual appeal. Also, like the types of stage makeup they do for say like men who are in theater is masculinizing makeup. You can actually do makeup that is designed to masculinize.
Right.
So it seems to be that your problem is not necessarily with makeup. Your problem is with men expressing femininity or the idea that femboys are degenerate. So that seems to be kind of the point of contention. So I would like to ask you,
if you want to be a clown,
how
or
are
you want to be an actor,
how are femboys degenerate?
Here, don't get me wrong. If you want to be a clown, if you want to be an actor, if you about to go on TV or something, you need to cover up blemishes. Of course, I'm not against that. I'm not. Of course. You
they specifically use like makeup to contour their face to be more masculine. But
oh no,
it seems that your problem. It seems with your problem is with
gym. You feel me?
It seems that your problem in general is with femboy degeneracy. I really want you to explain to me how are femboys degenerate.
If a man wants to contour his face, he need to hit the gym. He needs to
stop
stop
being so.
He needs to stop being so egotistical about his looks. Oh, I look good. Stop staring in the mirror all the goddamn day.
I don't really care if men want to hit the gym, want to do makeup, whatever. That's their prerogative. I'm really curious in why you think that femboys are degenerate.
Because they're not real men. And no, they're real men biologically.
Femboys aren't real men? So, okay, wait, let me get this straight. You think that trans women are real men, but femboys are not real men? That's the funniest shit I've ever heard.
I never said that. I never said trans women were real men. I said trans women are men, period, biological men. But when we're talking about real men, we're talking about masculinity. We're talking about socially. Trans men are men. They're not masculine. Actually, some trans women are very masculine. We got him to
say trans men are men. Let's go!
Yeah,
you're such a positive trans ally. I support you so much, Neil.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I support trans
Thank you for coming out in support of trans men.
That's why I support their therapy. I support their conversion therapy because I'm an ally to trans people.
Let's get back to the conversation. So you think that it is degenerate for men to not be masculine? How is that degenerate?
I think it's okay, so here's the thing. I understand that some men are more on the feminine side, which is normal. I'm not against that. And I know that's the same for...
It seems that you think it's immoral for them to be feminine.
I know that's the same for a gay man. But when we're talking about femboys, we're talking about to the extreme. And if we're saying to the extreme...
What's wrong with that?
It's bad for society. Because
how is it bad for society?
Because those aren't the kind of men... Those aren't the kind of men who build things. Those aren't the kind of men who protect women and children. Those aren't the kind of men.
What's your evidence? What's your evidence that femboys can't build things or that femboys can't protect women and children?
Oh no, they can build things. They just don't, and that's the problem.
What's your evidence that they don't?
They're femme.
To you, femboy means they're not building things and they're not protecting women and children. Because to me, femboy just refers to somebody. Wait. It seems like you don't really understand what a femboy is. To me, a femboy is a man who they understand themselves to be a man. They present as a man. However, their presentation is very feminine for a man. They perhaps wear gender atypical clothing. They perhaps wear makeup and clothing that is typically coded as feminine. That would be like a femboy.
I promise you.
In what way? In what way does like wearing a skirt or wearing makeup make somebody unable to do construction work or unable to take care of a woman and her child? Because I just don't see any link between wearing a skirt and not being able to take care of women and children.
I'm not saying that they can't. It's just that they're blurring the lines.
What's wrong with blurring the lines?
In order for a society to work, operate, and be successful, gender roles are important. It is important for
But
men to be
there have
men.
been many societies that have had very blurry gender roles. Hunter-gatherer societies absolutely allowed the blurring of gender roles. You can look at
Name
Native
one.
American populations and the Two-Spirit.
That's not true. That's not true.
They often blurred gender roles.
And
and
I hope
that's
no
okay.
Native Americans are watching this. They're going to be so upset. The Native Americans are turning in their graves. You talking this crazy stuff.
That certain Native American tribes recognized
Which
Two-Spirit
tribe?
people.
Which tribe are you talking about?
You want
the
a
gay
tribe? Let me look up examples
No, man,
of tribes
you're using a cheat sheet.
that
See, this is the thing about me. I don't need a
Two-Spirit.
cheat sheet.
You asked me for evidence, so I'm going to provide you evidence because
you
I
always
care
said it
about
was a tribe.
facts.
If
and
you were talking about a
I
tribe,
care
you're
about
supposed
facts.
to know the tribe you're talking about without looking it up. See, I don't need
So,
a cheat sheet.
let me see.
Look at this, y'all. This person is putting up the
You
evidence.
asked me for evidence. Oh,
No,
here we go.
I didn't ask you for evidence. I said which tribe, and
Let's
you're
see.
using a cheat sheet.
The Lakota, the Mojave, the
claim
Crow,
that
the
didn't even
Cheyenne,
know
and others.
yourself.
There have been
Look,
many Native American
realize what you're
tribes.
doing.
There have been many Native American tribes
Which tribe?
I just told you the name. Can you listen? I
Which
said
tribe?
the Lakota, the Mojave, the Crow, the Cheyenne, and others. They recognized Two-Spirit people who blurred
God.
the lines of gender.
okay.
And
I
they
want you
actually
to-
were revered as having
I
a
want you to
special
realize
role
what
in
you
that
just
society.
You named a whole bunch of tribes. Apparently, there's a lot
You
of tribes
asked me
who
for
believe in-
evidence, and I cited
Okay.
you a source. Why
No,
are
but-
you getting triggered when I look up facts?
No, because there's a lot of tribes who believe in blurring the gender lines. There's so many tribes. You made a claim, and you couldn't name me one of those tribes without Googling it. That shows me that you're just saying things because you think it sounds good. And then on top
No.
of that, the
What
ideas
I'm
of two
saying
spirits
this is
is
because
you're giving me a Eurocentric.
hold up. You're telling me what I think
You're
without actually allowing me to
Eurofying.
tell you what I actually think.
You're
Let me tell you what I'm
Eurofying.
actually doing. What I do is I do research
Your
on these
religion.
topics,
That's
and
wrong.
I know that there are
You do
there are.
know that's wrong.
Hold up, hushy poo. When I do research on these topics, I learned that throughout various cultures, throughout various societies, there have been different notions of gender, different
You're
blurrings of lines. And what I knew
because
is
you
that hold up,
wanted to
hushy
sound
poo.
smart,
I'm not done. You
then
say
you
you always let me
Googled
finish.
it
I'm not done.
to try to prove your
Wait.
point.
You said you always let me finish. Please let me finish. What I do is I look up these general notions, and from my research, I had learned that yes, there were Native American tribes who allowed for the lines of gender to be blurred, who recognized Two-Spirit people. And then when you ask me for a specific example of a specific tribe, I'm like, okay, I know that these tribes existed, so let me go to Google to give you a specific example of one of those
How
tribes.
did you know these tribes existed, but you didn't
because
know
I've done the
names of
research
tribe?
before. I can know that a phenomenon exists by doing research
Okay.
without knowing the specific instances of that
But
phenomenon.
if you did the research before,
So
they
that's
would have
why-
told you the tribe,
that's
so you
why-
would know.
You do know that I can remember that Two-Spirit populations were recognized in certain Native American tribes without remembering off the spot what those
Because you
tribes
got your
were.
information from
And that's
TikTok.
why I Google this in order to give you an example of the thing that
Okay.
you asked for. Here's the thing:
Fine.
if you wanted to Google a peer-reviewed study that shows that medical transition harms trans people, like your friend has had almost 4 hours to do so now, I wouldn't have a problem with that. I love looking up information live because I care about the facts. And if you truly care about the facts, you wouldn't get so triggered that I Googled just to make sure that I can provide an example of the facts that you were looking for.
No,
if
I
you
did have
truly,
facts.
if you
During the
truly
man's
care about
hormonal balance
truth,
is off,
if you
makes him
truly care
depressed.
about truth,
We
then
already
you would
did
want
that.
me to
Stop
perform
saying
this
that he
Google
didn't
search.
pull up anything
This
because you
Google
refuse to
search,
accept it.
this Google search is about providing truth. Therefore, if you care about truth, you will let me do this Google search. And
Okay,
now I
of
have done
course,
that.
do the Google
There are
search.
multiple tribes that have allowed for the blurring of gender lines. I also know Hawaiian tribes. They had the Mahu population, which were kind of an analogous case to like a trans woman in that society. They were seen as somebody who was masculine in body yet feminine in spirit, and they held a special gender role in that society. So your kind of idea that we have to have this binary notion of gender, and any deviancy from this binary notion of gender is degenerate and harmful to society, that's just not true. There have been lots of societies
what
that
I'm
have...
saying is-
Hold up. Let me finish. There have been lots of societies that have blurred the lines of gender, that have deviated from this binary notion of gender, that have turned out just fine. And so that doesn't mean that it's degenerate.
What I'm saying is, on an individual case-by-case basis, sure, we can afford to allow some weak men not be strong. On an individual case-by-case basis, as a mass majority whole, it is important for the men to go to war. Even within those tribes you were talking about, and I wholeheartedly disagree. I don't know about the Hawaiian tribes, but I wholeheartedly disagree with what you're saying about Native Americans. That is
You don't think that You don't think that two spirits real?
Hold on. The Europeans are misreading and misrepresenting their history. The Native Americans were almost wiped out, and here comes these Europeans imposing their beliefs and imposing what they believe that they believe. These people are almost completely gone.
Hold up.
They're not even the same
genetically. That doesn't make any sense.
We're going to say that these motherfuckers were transgender.
No, that doesn't make any sense. If you're saying that the Europeans were imposing their beliefs, the Europeans were the ones that had more binary views of gender. The native populations had less binary views of gender. They had much more blurry lines of gender. And so if you're saying that the Europeans imposing their beliefs is what created two-spirit, that's completely false, because the European populations didn't have a notion of a two-spirit person.
Oh, no, you're talking about
It was the native tribes absent of European influence that had the notion of a two-spirit population.
You're talking about the old Europeans. I'm talking about these new motherfuckers, these new Europeans here in the West. This is a new ideology. Back in the day, nobody believed in transgenderism.
Just to be clear, you don't believe that two-spirit people were recognized by any native tribes?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
You're disagreeing with facts.
What I'm saying is, no. You asked me that, and I say no. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, that does not justify transgenderism. And what I'm saying is, that does not mean that the Native Americans...
I didn't say that justified transgenderism.
And that doesn't mean that they believe in transgenderism either.
I didn't say that means they believe in transgenderism.
Okay, cool.
I'm just talking about the fact that various cultures... Hold up. I'm talking about the fact that various cultures have had blurry lines of gender and turned out just fine. Do you acknowledge that fact?
It wasn't blurry. The men still went to war and did manly things. It's just the simple matter.
You don't think that two-spirit people blurred the lines of gender?
Quote unquote two-spirit people still went to war. Those men still did what they were supposed to do for society, regardless of how they might have felt within the inside.
They held their own gender roles in those societies. They didn't always go to war. They were revered as a special population.
They went to war. When war came knocking, they went to war. When war came knocking, they went to war.
What's your source on that? Oh, so you don't have facts on your side.
Stop using cheat sheet.
Okay. Just checking that you don't have any facts, that you're just making stuff up.
But what I'm saying is,
you're just making up a narrative. You don't have any source which shows that like two-spirit people manned up and went to war. You're just making that up.
Russia came
you're just talking about your feelings once again.
No, I'm not talking about my feelings.
You don't have facts. You're just making up feelings.
Okay, this is my source. I got a source for you.
Please.
Let's say Russia came to invade America.
That's not a source. That's an anecdote.
Would you rather for men to be on the front lines and doing all the fighting, or would you rather for women to be on the front lines doing all the fighting and the men stay home? You tell me.
I would rather the people that have the best combat ability be on the front lines.
Are those men or women?
If it's based in physical strength, I think that would be mostly men, but there would also be plenty of women as well.
In almost every field, men outperform women when it comes to agility, when it comes to physical aspects, even when it comes to almost every aspect, even when it comes to leadership within the military. So you're trying to tell me that, well, a woman is just as capable.
I'm saying that certain women have these same kind of physical markers and are just as capable. And I would want the people who are most capable to be fulfilling those roles.
And who are those people?
I think it would be mostly men, but also some women.
Okay, mostly men. With that being said, those men who are femboys, fuck them. Society forgets about them. But for the mass majority, we need strong men. And if you
know that femboys can also be strong and capable of war, right?
Yes, and that's why it's perverted. And that's why I said it's immoral.
How is that perverted?
Because they can be strong and they can be masculine, but they choose not to. That's why.
What's wrong with choosing not to be masculine?
Because society needs them to be masculine, and they choose to say, "But wait, fuck society, I got feelings."
They can wear a skirt and also be and also like go to war. That's not mutually exclusive.
Then tell them motherfuckers to do it then, because I don't see that happening.
You don't see any femboys in the military.
The mass majority, when a motherfucker say he wants to be femboy, he's not gonna be
masculine,
and
that's a military. Give me some Google images.
Femboy, he's trying to be a female. That's like saying an incel is having sex.
Come on, there are femboys in the military. You can Google this.
Sure.
Like, just go to Google Images and search femboys in the military. You'll literally find pictures of femboys in the military.
Yeah, because they need money. But what I'm saying is,
what? Look, they seem perfectly capable of war.
What I'm saying is this,
look, if they want to be femboys and also be capable of serving in the military, there's nothing wrong with that.
That's just one example. That's an example to show you how it doesn't work as a society. Femboys also, okay, let me tell you this, and I 100% believe this. You may disagree. Of course, you'll disagree. But it is impossible for an effeminate man to raise a young boy to be a strong man. It is impossible.
That's not true.
It is impossible for an effeminate man to have a healthy household and a healthy dynamic to be the leader of his household. It is impossible.
What's your source? Under what metric is a femboy incapable of
life, of reality? My source is
that your source is feelings.
Your source is
feelings.
My source is the black community. My source is the black community. My source is decades and decades of experience. When a man is not doing his job as a man,
you can be a femboy and do your job. Those are not mutually exclusive.
But they don't.
You seem to think that they're mutually exclusive.
I could be a gangbanger and still have my Pizza Hut job.
My dude.
Gangbangers don't work at Pizza Hut. They work on the corner.
My dude, this is the problem. You're once again just asserting your feelings, saying that, well, I feel that a femboy can't run a household. That's all you have.
It's a fact.
All you have is feelings. You don't have any data. You don't have any science. You don't have any studies. Throughout this entire conversation, you still have not cited any kind of peer-reviewed studies
because I'm not
on these subjects. Whenever I've asked you for a source, you have never had one. Like seriously, for the people that are watching, if you rewind this debate, you will see that Neil has never had a source for any of these claims that I've asked him for sources on.
I didn't pull up cheat sheets, and then when I told you again.
Oh no! Are you getting triggered that I have facts and data? You're calling facts and science and data cheat sheets?
Okay, so
stop getting triggered by facts, Neil. Facts don't care about your feelings.
Because when you make a claim, you're supposed to know what you're talking about. So tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. If a man does not do his job within a household, his kids are more likely to be unsuccessful, unproductive. His kids are more likely to be drug dealers, prostitutes, all of that. Tell me if I'm wrong. Am I wrong about that?
Oh, if a home is not like happy and healthy and support of their children, yeah, those are definitely more likely outcomes. But that has nothing to do with whether or not a man is feminine.
And I don't think that an effeminate man can have a healthy household. If
Why?
Brother could be happy, everybody in that bitch could be happy.
Why can a femboy?
Everybody could be
why
happy.
can a femboy not have a healthy household?
It's not a healthy dynamic.
Why can a femboy not have a healthy household?
My proof is decades and decades of research.
Why can
evolution?
You're not even giving me a reason. Why can a femboy not have a healthy household?
That's determined for the man to be masculine, for the man to be strong, and for the woman to be the effeminate one. We know this works because every single society.
That's not even true. What is considered?
Every single society, without a shadow of a doubt, even when the women were queens in certain places in Africa, every single society, without a shadow of doubt, has had strong men and reared strong men. And when the men were weak, they were easily overtaken.
Wait. Feminine and weak are not synonyms. You do know that, right?
Femboys are weak.
How are femboys weak?
I mean, you know, they're just because they're just weak. Okay, so
your reason is just because. Wait.
Yeah, just a magical
so if your reason is just because, that can justify literally anything. If I said that trans women are women just because, you would say that that's the stupidest thing you've ever heard.
That's what I'm saying.
Stop using just because as a justification.
Yeah,
that is so weak. You have nothing. That's the funniest thing. Your channel disclaimer. Your channel disclaimer says that you base your content off of research, and that research is just because. Your works cited as a literal.
That's not my reason.
Your works cited. Your works cited.
Sarcastic.
Hold up.
Do you not hear me talking?
Your works cited. Your works cited as a literal crack pipe, my dude.
I was being sarcastic. Did you not hear me say I was being sarcastic?
Oh, sorry. If you're being sarcastic, then please tell me why are femboys weak?
Exactly. You did all that talking and you couldn't even hear what I was saying. I was being sarcastic. I was saying just because of some magical thing that makes femboys weak.
Okay, then give me the real reason.
The real reason why femboys are weak?
Yeah.
Because they're effeminate. And being effeminate.
But wait, feminine is not a 1-to-1 correlation with weak. Like you could have somebody who is like big and buff and strong, and they could still wear a dress, and that wouldn't mean that they're weak.
No, they're strong physically, but when shit heats up, they put their tails between their legs.
How do you know that?
Because by the definition of them being a femboy, instead of going by
you're saying that the definition of femboy is that they put their tails up and run when the going gets tough?
That's what they doing. That's why they're femboys.
I don't think that's in the definition of femboy at all.
No.
When I Google search define femboy, what it says is a male whose appearance and behavioral traits are regarded as conventionally feminine. That doesn't necessarily mean that they just like get their tail up and run.
Okay, think about what makes a man a femboy. Think about that. What makes a man a femboy?
It would typically be based on feminine presentation.
Right. And why do they feel the need to do that?
Just because they want to.
They're weak. They giving in to their craziness within their head.
How is it crazy to want to wear a skirt?
They've already given up on themselves.
How is that giving up on themselves?
Instead of manning up and being a man and doing what men are supposed to do, they choose to be weak.
Neil, you have nothing. You're saying that what a man is supposed to do is
yes.
Wear pants? What?
Yes. Yes, a man's supposed to wear pants.
Why are men supposed to wear pants? They could wear a skirt if they want. I think that what is most manly is wearing the clothes you want, regardless of whether or not society is going to call you.
I got a question for you.
Wait. I think that the most manly thing you can do, the most masculine thing you can do, is to wear whatever clothes you want, regardless of whether or not society is going to call you a sissy for it. So if a femboy is saying, you know what, I don't care what society thinks, true value comes from within. I know who I am. I want to wear a skirt because I think it's fun. That's who I am, and I am strong because I don't give a crap about what society tells me I have to wear for their own aesthetic appeal. I'm going to be strong and wear what I want. That sounds pretty masculine to me.
I hear you. So you agree? So you think that's masculine?
Yeah, somebody who is an independent thinker like that sounds very masculine to me.
So when a woman does it, she's masculine too.
If a woman like says that I don't care what society thinks, I'm gonna wear the clothes I want. Yeah, that's kind of masculine.
She's masculine too. And when a trans woman does it, you believe that trans women are women. So when a trans woman does it, the trans woman is masculine too.
Look, if a trans woman says that like she's gonna wear gender atypical clothing because frick society, she's gonna wear what she wants, I think that you can certainly view that as a masculine trait.
Okay, so you understand that certain traits are masculine, certain traits are feminine.
Like a trans woman wearing like a butch lesbian kind of attire. Yeah, that's kind of masculine.
Okay, so when you understand that, then you understand that being weak is a feminine trait.
No,
and being strong,
being weak is not. Strength is not necessarily masculine, and weakness is not inherently feminine.
Yes, it is. And being strong is a masculine trait. You have two dual realities, feminine and masculine. It's like yin and yang. Feminine is on the side of femininity, is on the side of weakness. Weakness is on the side of femininity, and being strong is on the side of masculinity. So you understand
feminine and weak are not synonyms. There are plenty of feminine people who are very strong.
I said that being weak is on the side of being feminine. That's why every man's goal is to be strong, is to hit the gym, is to get these muscles. Because the more muscular you are, you just made yourself more masculine.
So
that's why trans people, that's why trans women, that's why trans men take hormones so they could be stronger because they want to be more masculine. They understand having muscle mass makes them more masculine. They understand this. But you've been disingenuous right now to not even realize, to not even acknowledge that being weak is on the side of being feminine and being strong is on the side of being masculine. Trans men understand this. That's why trans men take testosterone, because they want to be stronger. They want to be like men. They want to have the six-pack. They understand being strong is on the side of masculine, right?
Okay, so I don't think that like weakness and femininity can be equated in the same way that you are. That just doesn't seem to really reflect the reality.
I'm not saying it's equal.
You're also painting these crazy absolutes where you're saying that every single man wants to be so strong and masculine and hit the gym.
Men want to be strong.
That's not what all men want. There are plenty of men who they find strength from within.
We're talking about
that they want to present themselves femininely. And
come on now. You know what I'm talking about.
You can be simultaneously strong and feminine. Just like how you can be simultaneously weak and masculine.
Do you think I disagree with you on that?
Such as, for example, men who, despite having a very masculine appearance, are extremely emotionally fragile. That is a form of weakness from somebody who is
I'm not disagreeing
in presentation
with you on that.
very much masculine. That's why I just don't think that you can equate femininity and weakness the way that you are.
Look. I'm saying it's one trait. It's one trait. I never said that. That makes up the entirety of who you are. What I'm saying is being a femboy, you're leaning toward the side of femininity. I'm not saying you can't be masculine in other traits. I'm not saying that. So I'm just saying that being weak is on the side of femininity. You have two things. You
Well,
got
here's the problem.
it-
You
we
are equating it when you say that femboys are weak.
yeah, they're weak.
So you
within that aspect.
are equating femininity with weakness.
Yes.
Stop being
No, no.
disingenuous. You just equated
listen
femininity
what
with
I'm-
weakness.
This is what I'm saying. Being weak is a feminine characteristic. That's what
So,
I'm saying. It's a
but
feminine
when you say that femboys are weak, you are
Yes.
equating femininity with weak. You're not just saying that this is one trait that is, sometimes or generally considered feminine. You are equating
No.
femininity with
being
weakness.
weak is always
when you
feminine.
claim. Okay, so then stop. Then actually hold yourself to that belief. Go ahead. Like tell me that you are indeed equating femininity with weakness.
Feminine is a broad term. Weakness is one of those traits.
Okay, so you do equate femininity with weakness.
Right, but feminine
Okay,
is the
so you just spent
it's
the
a
past
broadest
like you
term.
just spent the past like 2 minutes arguing with me that no, I'm not equating femininity with weakness. But now you just said you are equating femininity with
because
weakness.
I agree with you because how you're using it, but I'm not saying that they're equal. But if you're for the sake of
You
argument,
just said
then
that you
sure.
equate them. Stop
Yeah,
flip
for the sake
flopping.
of argument, because I'm tired of going back and forth. Even though femininity is literally a broader term, weak is just one of them. That means that a feminine woman can still be strong, but femininity is a broad term. A feminine woman can still be strong, but just know being strong is a masculine trait. Femininity
Okay,
is a broad
so
term that holds a bunch of things. You see what I'm
feminine
saying?
people can still be strong, then
Yes.
femboys can still be strong. Therefore,
Yes.
it's wrong to say that femboys are weak.
No, that's not why I'm saying that. Why I'm saying femboys are weak is because they choose not to be strong, even though they can be. That's why I said I've been saying it from the beginning.
How are they
I
choosing?
said they can
what
choose
is,
to be,
what
but
is
they
your
choose not to
evidence
be.
that femboys are choosing not to be strong?
Because it's literally within their names. They're choosing to be feminine, and if you're feminine, then and you're indulging into something that you're not supposed to be, then you're giving in to weakness. You're giving in to a mental illness, and you're telling me that
So
you're
now
weak.
now femboys are mentally ill? This is insane.
Yeah,
How
a
are
lot of them-
femboys mentally ill?
the same way that trans people are. I'm not gonna even say it, but anyways,
But we already established that mental illness requires clinically significant distress or disability, but being a femboy doesn't cause clinically significant distress or disability.
what I'm saying is this: they're giving in into a side, or whatever. I can't even say side. Like they're giving in to not wanting to be a man, to not wanting to be masculine.
No,
They're giving in to
femboys
that.
want to be men. They are men.
Right.
They just
But
express
they-
their presentation
they
more
don't-
femininely.
They okay. I'm gonna put it this way: a femboy, like I said before, is incapable of rearing children in a proper way. If
And
you're
your
a femboy,
evidence for that is your evidence that a femboy is incapable of rearing children in a proper way is.
we got this thing called bitch boy. To me, bitch boy and femboys are the exact same thing. If you truly believe that a bitch boy would make a good father and a good husband, then I have a bridge to sell you.
Are we talking about bitch boys or are we talking about femboys?
Femboys are bitch boys.
Okay, so what's your evidence that a femboy is incapable of being a good father?
What's your evidence that a bitch boy is incapable of being a good father?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying
But
that
bitch boys can
I
be
think
good
that I
fathers,
think that
yes
it's
or no?
perfectly possible for a man to be feminine and to also raise a family.
He could raise a family, but it's not a healthy dynamic because you
How
already
is
have
it an unhealthy dynamic?
you already have a feminine role within the household, and that's supposed to be the mother.
So that doesn't have to be the mother. What if there's a femboy and a masculine woman? Could they raise a family proper?
That's a weird dynamic because now you're confusing your children.
How does that confuse children?
Because the man is supposed to be masculine and the woman is supposed to be feminine.
But wait. How is that confusing for kids? They're just like, oh, well, like most men are kind of more masculine, most women are kind of more feminine, but your dad's a little bit more feminine, your mom's a little bit more masculine. I think that's perfectly understandable by children. That doesn't confuse
isn't
them.
the problem. What I'm saying is, for the woman to be more masculine than a man in the household, that's unhealthy.
How is that unhealthy?
Because men and women are supposed to follow within their binary sex.
Why are they supposed to follow within that binary view of masculinity and femininity?
Because that's the way nature intended. That's the way evolution intended.
So just because something is natural, we're supposed to follow whatever is natural?
Because it works for our ancestors, yes.
Okay, you're once again doing the appeal to nature. While you
Yes,
yourself
I love nature.
while you yourself are wearing glasses Your glasses
Yes.
are unnatural,
Yes.
yet you're
And
relying on the
again,
appeal to
my
nature
and,
logical
and again,
fallacy.
and again, my
I
eyesight
I
isn't
think that I
20/20.
think that we're not getting anywhere at this point.
My eyesight, you
It seems
using
that
my glass.
you just don't have a real reason why you are suggesting that a feminine man or a masculine woman can't take care of a family
Because statistically it works.
some broad appeal to your feelings or the
Statistically
appeal
it
to nature
works.
fallacy.
Statistically it works.
You don't have statistics. You don't have
I do have
statistics.
statistics.
You have not once cited a
It has work
study
fiber answers.
for any of
Because
the things I've
masculine
asked
men
you.
and feminine women is the reason why you're here today.
All right,
It's the reason
I
why we're
actually
all
have
here.
something that I need to get going to pretty soon.
Okay,
I really
bye.
appreciate the conversation.
Thanks
I
for
think
the
that this is
conversation. It was a
probably
good
a
one.
decent time to wrap things up because
I
we are
got a lot of
getting
clips I can use for
absolutely
this.
nowhere at this point. So I want to thank you for this debate. And I
Absolutely.
just hope that you know you would think about these topics a little bit deeper and maybe, like your channel disclaimer says, base your beliefs off of actual research. I would want you to have, you know, some kind of like actual research or data
Bye.
to show why, you know, whether or not like a femboy or a masculine woman can or cannot raise children other than your feelings or other than some kind of appeal to nature. So that's kind of what I'd like to say. Thanks again for having me on. I hope you have a lovely, lovely night. All right. Oh my goodness. We got yo. No. No goodbye from him? No goodbye from him? That's so sad. Oh my gosh. I cannot believe I've been going at that for 4 hours. That was crazy. So I have swing dancing, a swing dancing class that I have to teach within an hour. So we can do a little bit of a briefing, debriefing. Wowee, that was a really fun debate. Yeah, I don't think that he was prepared to debate a trans woman that actually has facts and science on that actually knows about facts and data. If you've seen like his channel, he had like that one trans girl that he debated that she just did not have any kind of like rhetoric training or like studies to kind of back up her claims. But when you right, getting triggered at my at cheat sheets. Oh no, somebody brought facts and science and logic into the debate. I can't compete with facts. Stop relying on those cheat sheets. Oh my gosh. My editor Sky is going to have a really fun time with that one. I love femboys. Oh gee, I don't know if you even want to get into that one. If you're interested in talking about the feminine penis,
Then you know that 2 + 2 = 3.
no, 2 + 2 is 4. That was fantastic. I am very happy with how that went. Oh my gosh. Whoo! Ah, that was so good. Oh my goodness. Completely one-sided. It's kind of hard to like really debate like the femboy discourse other than just like people's personal feelings on it. But I don't know. I think that was one of the cases where just like letting him talk along with a couple of you really don't have a justification. You're just basing this off of your feelings is enough to point out at least the people that can be persuaded that, you know, he's just presenting some narrative based on his feelings. He doesn't really have any facts or data or science. So, yeah, I think that's one of those instances where, like, just let them say their crazy shit and then point out that they're just making it up and then let them say more crazy shit. Like, yeah, I remember when I did that one debate on the Crucible with the Montenegrin metal, that was also a case where it was very advantageous to let himself talk into his own defeat. The goal with debating is you want to give your opponent just enough rope to hang themselves with, essentially. That is the level you want to look for, and it's a fine line, and one that I think I'm, you know, getting better at and better at. Yeah, I definitely think that that's a point that I wonder how good that would be to bring up in debates where it's like pointing out how, particularly men, when I debate like conservative men, how much they absolutely treat me like a woman and how they think that they can just talk over me and just like assert things that you know, value masculinity and manhood over my perceived femininity and womanhood, and I think it's a good point, and one that I want to bring up more. But yeah, like I noticed that especially when I debated, it was Andrew in the Crucible. Oh my gosh, he treated me like the womanliest woman ever, and yeah, like you can see how it's the same point where it was like Ben Shapiro on, what was it, like the Joe Rogan podcast, where he was talking about a trans woman, and he kept on referring to the trans woman as she, and had to go out of his way to correct himself and misgender the trans person, where it was shown that it was mentally difficult for him to misgender a trans person. Like, transphobes, they absolutely mentally see trans women as women to some extent in the ways that they act misogynistically towards them. And yeah, I think it's a very interesting point that be a good one to bring up more. So they watch trans porn and stuff. Yeah, that was another one. We didn't really get into like the sexuality of people that are attracted to trans people, but we actually have peer-reviewed studies on this. Let me go ahead and find it. Yes, okay. There was this peer-reviewed study right here in Nature, and what they did was they had gay men and straight men, and they showed them images of cis women, images of trans women who presented femininely but were not medically transitioned, trans women who presented femininely and medically transitioned, as well as pictures of cis men, and then also they had a control set of images, which were like pictures of monkeys, and they looked for like visual sexual stimuli and responses to these images. And what they found was that it was straight men were the ones attracted to trans women, and gay men were the ones that were not attracted to trans women, because it seems that the kinds of visual sexual attraction stimuli, okay, like for people that are in chat, everybody knows that this is true. Like, every trans person knows that, yes, it's people that are attracted to women who are the ones that are attracted to trans women. Yes, it's people that are attracted to men that are the ones that are attracted to trans men. But for people that don't, like, this is literally the study which shows that, yes, the attraction patterns has much more so to do with gender presentation and with your hormonal sex, rather than like the biological sex you were assigned at birth. So yeah, I know that like the transphobes always try to frame sexuality as purely based on people's biological sex, and that's just completely silly. There are like, for so many straight men, their attraction to women is much more so about an attraction to femininity rather than an attraction to femaleness, and that's why you have maybe, if you want to call them, spicy straight, but these are dudes that they see themselves as straight men, yet acknowledge attraction to femboys, or even a desire to date femboys. Look, I don't know if you want to call them bisexual and attracted to femininity, or spicy straight, or just to recognize that sexuality is based off of both sex and gender to varying extents in different people. But that's just a fact about how people view themselves, how people view their own sexuality, and the types of people that they're actually attracted to. Yeah, also, just like the rapid increase in consumption of transgender pornography, especially since like porn websites moved the transgender category from the gay websites over to the straight websites, where, you know, they would classify like a trans girl and a cis man as like straight. They would classify like a trans girl and another trans girl as like gay. When they did that kind of change, that absolutely changed like how much people were watching transgender porn. Just the societal notion of what is considered straight versus gay, what is considered, you know, acceptable sexuality versus like degenerate sexuality, that has a big impact on how people feel comfortable with expressing their true attraction, their true desires. It is absolutely the case that there are more people who are attracted to trans people than are willing to admit it. That this is a well-known phenomenon. I know that people that are in like the Hollywood circles, the kind of like the celebrity sphere, it is very common for these people to like date trans women on the DL and never admit it. Ooh, actually, Steven Crowder, Louder with Crowder, our guy who his jokes are horrible, and it seems like the only kind of humor he knows is racist jokes. It has been known that he dates trans women on the DL. He is absolutely attracted to trans women and dates them on the DL. You can look this up. Steven Crowder, he loves him some trans women. Yeah, you can look this up. Now, I think that's awesome that like he is into trans women, but what's not awesome is not owning it. Like, lots of people are attracted to trans women. You know, Steven, if if trans women can give you that good of a sucky, the least you can do is acknowledge your attraction and support them. You know, that's where the problem is. There's nothing wrong about his attraction to trans women. The problem is he just won't, you know, admit it. He won't stand up for us. Oh my goodness. What was the evidence of Steven Crowder dating won't budge? You mean won't bulge? Dating trans women. Yeah, there also is kind of like both people viewing attraction to trans women as a fetish, and also people that do fetishize trans people. Well, here it is. Trans teen accuses Steven Crowder of paying her for sex. Nice. Oh no, it gets worse. Paying her $1,000 for sex when she was 17. Whoa. And this person, like they are coming out publicly with their name and face behind it, which that definitely adds credibility to the accusation. But yikes. So oh my goodness. Steven, just own it, you know? If trans girls give you the good sucky, the least you can do is stand up for their human rights. You know, the least you can do, Neil, is thank me for coming on and give me a goodbye.